There might come a point when an adult child realizes they've spent years trying to get someone with no intention of understanding them to hear them. They explained what hurt them, why certain behaviors were painful, what they need to feel safe, and why they set certain boundaries. They have carefully chosen their words, softened delivery, provided examples, answered questions, and tried repeatedly when their explanations were dismissed. They eventually recognized that the problem isn't that they didn't explain themselves well enough. When someone actually wants to get to know us, they're usually willing to listen. They approach us with curiosity. They ask questions, reflect on what was said, and acknowledge our experience even if they don't agree or they remember things differently. In dysfunctional family relationships, explanations become an opportunity for someone to be challenged, minimized, or blamed. Every explanation creates another detail to argue. That isn't what happened. What about what you did? You're too sensitive. The conversation moves away from the original topic and eventually becomes the adult child defending their right to have been hurt in the first place. Explaining can become a form of seeking permission. An adult child might think if they find the perfect words, or if they can prove they have a good reason for limiting visits or refusing certain conversations, the other person will finally accept their decision. But the thing is, boundaries don't require a vote. You decide what kind of contact you're willing to have. You do not have to present a legal case to decide whether you're willing to continue a relationship or not. There are situations where explanations are worthwhile, especially if you're dealing with someone who genuinely wants to understand us and is able to listen. An issue develops when an explanation has been given repeatedly and nothing changes. It may not be communication anymore, but it's about someone else's refusal to accept what has been said. We cannot make someone be receptive. Not explaining can feel very uncomfortable at first because many adult children have been conditioned to justify themselves. They may have grown up believing that saying no required a reason, their feelings had to be defended, and that someone else's displeasure meant they did something wrong. When they finally stop explaining, they may feel selfish, cruel, or guilty. They may wonder if they're being unreasonable because they are no longer willing to debate their decisions. There is freedom in reaching a point where you no longer need the person who hurt you to agree that you were hurt. You can acknowledge what happened, understand your reasons, and allow the other person to have whatever opinion they choose. Sometimes a significant step in healing is realizing you've already explained yourself enough. You are allowed to stop arguing a case and start living your life. Have a good day.